Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disruptive Franchise podcast. My guest today is the wonderful Anne-Marie Martin from Diddy Dance. Hello.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Really good to have a chat with you. So you've been so involved with the Disruptive Franchise Awards over the years. I couldn't not have you on. Like you're like royalty in what we do. Tell us a little bit about you, Diddy Dance, how it all started. Tell us your journey. Tell us everything.
Oh, why not? Why not? So Anne-Marie Martin, founder, franchisor of Diddy Dance. I started the company 22 years ago and currently have a network around 40 franchisees. We've got a few in the pipeline. We've got a few resales going on. So I'm always wondering what that figure is at the moment. And they run from Sunderland right down to Plymouth. So quite a good stretch of the UK. And we do what we say on the tin. We teach little ones to dance. So baby and toddler classes, parties, intergenerational classes, sessions, send sessions, everything to just get the little ones moving to music so that they find that love of dancing and movement that will hopefully keep them active into later life.
Amazing. What was the passion behind starting Diddy Dance, Anne-Marie? Like, what was it that made you go, "I'm doing this now"?
Well, I sort of fell into it. So I trained as a professional dancer, did my GCSEs, did A-level dance, and then moved on and did a degree in dance. So that was all the way back in the 90s. And when I graduated, I was lucky enough to go straight into performing. So I did jobs all around the world, did a cruise ship, but then I joined a contemporary dance company for over a year based at the Royal Opera House, pop videos, Brit Awards, Top of the Pops, loads of amazing opportunities and work that I got to do. But in between the life of a jobbing dancer, I found that I really loved teaching. My dissertation was in dance movement therapy and dance in special educational needs. And so I knew that dance and movement could make a difference to all children. But what I hadn't ever done was work with under fives. So I'd never worked in the preschool market. So I taught adults, I was teaching all different ages. I taught for Stagecoach, I taught for Theatre Train, I taught for various different dance schools. And then I also was doing some promotional work, hospitality work in between dancing jobs. And then when I decided that the time was ready to hang up those dancing shoes, that I would move into a marketing career. So I joined a promotional marketing agency and booked basically all of my dancing friends on lots of different jobs. I soon realised much, and I do apologise to my lovely boss there, that an office job just wasn't for me. And so when I left that role, I found myself with sort of Mondays to Fridays. I was still teaching evenings, weekends, but I found myself with this sort of gap in midweek and thought, like, what could I do now? And I looked for a role. I actually got a role for Gymboree UK. So they used to have a centre in Islington. And so I would do various classes during the week for them. And I loved it. I was working with all these cute babies and little toddlers. And, all the research behind it is brilliant. It's a great brand. And that introduced me to babies and toddlers. And this was sort of back in 2002, 2003. And it was there that a load of the grown-ups come into those classes, we'd chat and they knew I would used to dance, and they were like, well, actually we've been looking for a dance class for our little ones. The local ballet school does some pre-primary classes, but it's formal, it's drop off, and they've come out a little bit scared, like, oh, I don't want to do dancing, it's a bit scary. I was like, okay, that is all I need to know. That was my red rag to the bull. I was like, okay, yeah, okay, let's have find something that they do love doing, just informal, really relaxed. They join in at their own pace, no pressure. The grown-ups are with them. But I didn't quite know what I was going to do. Anyway, they then booked me a venue, told me to turn up. I'd be proud of them together. And I was sort of like winging it. And through the experience I had then with working with babies and toddlers, I was sort of like, okay, repetition matters. Okay, this sort of song, let's do this. It was like the time of tweenies, S Club 7, steps. I was got my PPL license. I was using all the really nice, cheesy, family friendly pop songs.
Love it.
Then introduce some props, saw that that was working. And then I worked with an amazing guy who was the singing teacher at Stagecoach I worked at. And he used to write all of our original songs for shows that we would put on. I said, okay, I'm looking for some original music. The charts, after a year or two, the charts started changing, and it was very rare that you could get clean
It
music.
went very R&B, didn't it, towards that time that you're talking about? A bit heavy.
I just feel like radio edits were very rare, and the even if it wasn't, bad language, the connotations around it I felt wasn't comfortable using for little ones.
Probably
So
can't
I
get
worked
Toddler
with him.
Dancer Hot in Here by Nelly or, like Dilemma.
Yeah, I just felt, yeah, it wasn't maybe appropriate. So yeah, so I asked him, and we came up with a bunch of songs together. We'd had a first album written, and then spent all this money, got a whole album written, and then went, oh, okay, what else can I do to mix up the classes? Because the repetition was working brilliantly, but I still think it needed some sort of changes. So we put that into production. That had all been released. I'd had CDs printed. Like, who does that nowadays? And then went, oh, actually, I think we should explore different dance styles. Then I need a load more music written now. So yeah, that we soon quickly decided that that was quite a nice edge to it, explore different dance styles. So now we do that over what is currently a 2-year program. So about 16 different dance styles to actually over the past sort of 6 months been working, well, probably even a bit longer. We introduced baby classes about 18 months ago. So that took up quite a big chunk of time, really working with an amazing early years movement specialist, Carol Archer, and child psychologist to really develop the babies sessions. And then now I'm moving back on to looking at full development. So we're actually creating a 4-year program now because we go from babies up to school age, and yeah, loads of new dance styles coming out as well. I mean, it could be about 16 years long because the
But that's
more
what
you research it, it's
yeah,
just amazing the amount of different dance styles from different countries, all coming with completely different elements and moves and celebrations. It's amazing. And so to try and hone that down, even just into a 4-year program of every half term, has been hard. But you try and go with popular things, the dance styles you see on Strictly, and all the classic ones, pop and rock and all those things as well. So yeah, it's been quite the journey over the 22 years, and it just keeps developing and creating more all the time.
love it. What drives you to keep adding and tweaking and change? Because this is all such, I think, important innovation to keep that brand fresh and keep you like mentally overloaded. I'm sure. Like, but what is it? What is it that drives you in that like why haven't in 22 years you sat back and kind of gone, this is it, this is what we do?
Well, there's definitely moments where you think, right, okay, the syllabus is done, the music's done, there's this, okay, let me just chill for a little bit. But I'm definitely not a chill type of person. I think anybody in the industry would know that. I have quite a lot of energy, and so I'm not very good at sitting back on things. But also, I think when you have a really driven franchise network as well, they are on at me to do those things as well. And it's hard sometimes because, I don't probably communicate and shout about everything that we do within the network as much as I should. But I've been working on these things, all the babies plans and then all the new plans for years and years and years. And then they're like, well, we need this and we should look at this and I go, oh yeah, I've been doing that. Oh, but then how would you know that? Because I've not told you. So I try and get on with things, and my brain is always going, and I'm always trying to do loads and loads of things. I'm just probably not the best at going, hey everyone, look at what I am
We're
doing
doing
now.
this now. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's a combination of me not being able to sit back and do that, but also having a really great driven network that are pushing for those things as well.
I love that. I really do. And like, I think with franchise, the perception of franchise definitely is compliance. And what I loved about taking over the disruptive and being a part of for years, like the Disruptive Franchise Awards, is it's about celebrating all of these innovations that happen. And
Mm.
I think what people kind of overlooking franchises that if you don't innovate, you're stuck. You stay where you are. You don't, nothing changes unless we change it. But I think the perception is very much compliance. Franchisees must comply. We want people to do as they're told. Whereas actually, I don't get that from you at all. Like, I think my perception of you guys as Diddy Dance is that actually you're quite collaborative. And like you say, like your franchisees out, I've got this idea and you're like, oh, I'm already doing it. Like, I love that.
Yeah, and definitely. However, I think if you ask some of them, they wouldn't agree with that because I think when it is your brand and that's your passion and that's your baby, sometimes when ideas come in and you know they won't work, it's like, okay, I see that, but actually we do this because of this, and we do this because of that developmental element, or because when I devised this, we're creating this flow. And so sometimes when things come in, or sometimes even when I just go, oh yeah, I have been working on that, it's not always plain sailing. I have had plenty of comments of like, oh, well, I wish we could mention a bit more like that. But, you always say, oh, I've already done it. Or, so actually, I think, and again, trying to work on my communication skills, I've had plenty of comments that I'm quite defensive about it. I would like to think I'm passionate about the brand and making sure that things make sense to the flow and the ethos of what we deliver. It'd be great to branch out and do lots of other things and this and that, but actually let's keep to our niche. We're not looking at now branching out into like sensory classes or branching out into making it theatrical and drama based, or introducing singing to it or anything like that. I've always wanted to keep it movement and dance at the core. So sometimes I can understand why it can feel a bit blocked, but let's always bring it back to what we're doing and the ethos behind that, and look at, at conference we had just a couple of weeks, I was going, right, okay, let's explore different revenue streams. And we're looking at, doing care home sessions. We do intergenerational classes already where we bring the little ones in, but actually we're seeing the benefits to the residents so much. And one of the franchisees has got a fitness for the older generation qualification as well. And so I'm working with her. We're going to start that next week, about developing plans just to go in and teach, not down on a patronizing level of okay guys, but yeah. And a lot of us have done our what is called Paradance UK qualification as well, so we're qualified to teach disability dance in wheelchairs and walking aids and things like that as well, so that physiologically and anatomy wise, it's what we're doing is safe physically to do. So developing all of that work that we've done to develop dance and movement sessions for the residents in care homes as well. So just little things like that of trying to expand the revenue stream as well.
Yeah, I love that. It's hard, isn't it, as a franchisor to be firm and protective, because you always feel like, oh, I've got to be the one who says no, and I want to be the fun one. It's like being a parent. It's so like being a parent. But it's really equally important that like they have to understand that actually these are the confines of the partnership. This is how we work.
Yeah,
This is how we do it for a reason. And you, as the franchisor, have to be very protective of the vision and what you stand for, so that you have that unique element of Diddy dance, not everything
yeah,
dance, And I completely resonate with that. I really do.
yeah, yeah,
Talk to me more about the side of it that you have with that, like you were saying about the kind of the Paralympic aspect of it, because at the Disruptive Franchise Awards in 2024, you did a really lovely presentation on stage. Or the viewers won't know this, but you did a really lovely section on the stage with Jack. And obviously, you've got your TikTok. I say obviously, you've got a TikTok account together. I found that so interesting to learn more about that aspect and the importance actually of movement being inclusive for everybody. Because I think, whether it's neurotypical versus neurodiverse, or able-bodied versus like, disabled, everybody needs to be involved. And I think it's quite something to get on stage and kind of talk about the importance of that, but make it resonate with everyone in the room like you did. So tell me more about that.
oh, thank you. Yeah, so I met Jack During lockdown when I joined TikTok. He had a TikTok account, so he had cancer in his knee, and by the time it was fully diagnosed, it had spread. So his amputation is just below his hip. And he would come on TikTok and hop around on one leg to all the trending songs and do all the routines. And I was just mesmerized by him, absolutely inspired by him. And as I say, I did my disability dance at Paradance UK qualification back in 2014, I think it was. So I've always been passionate about dance for everyone. And yes, in our classes, we have a mixture of children that all come. We lead the classes and all children join in at their own level. And that is neurotypical, neurodiverse children as well, but also with physical disabilities. Or so I've always been passionate about that and being inclusive. And I used to work for various different councils and do lots of send sessions back in the early days as well. So plenty of years experience, but there was something about watching Jack that I was like, right, there's something here that we can help get the message out more, the broader message about he's dancing on one leg and he's doing that for some of his lives. He'd be on live for like an hour. Now, don't get me wrong, he'd sit down and rest. He's not a lunatic. But he was just this force of energy that I was like, I need to chat to him. And we got on really well. We have a really good laugh. And then when lockdown was lifted, we could finally meet up. We were like, right, let's start doing some work together. And for me, that was a no-brainer because I was just like, this helps us get the message out there. But what we were finding, he was doing lots of dance lives from quite an entertaining point of view. People would just be mesmerized watching his lives.
It's incredible. I love watching him.
Unbelievable. And then I started doing, when we were in like the third or fourth lockdown, I started doing a load of dance live from this room on TikTok because I was like, I need to move. I could feel my mental health slipping. Um, and I just love the fact, and I wanted to spread the word about the fact that dance is for everyone, all ages, all abilities, and get your favorite songs on, close your eyes, don't even follow what I'm doing. I'm going to do a warm up, I'm going to teach you a routine, we're going to do a cool down. But if you just want to enjoy the music, and it was always really uplifting chart music or, dance music, it was like just close your eyes and just takes you away. You're not in your house locked in. You are away on a beach, you're away in the forest, wherever you want to be, you're out in the sea on a boat. Just listen to those tunes and the positivity I got and the comments I was getting going, I was really low this morning, you really lifted me. I just love, I'd not even thought about just getting some songs on and having a kitchen disco, and then Sophie Ellis Bextor did it. It was
Coined it.
and it just reinforced to me the power of moving to music. So when me and Jack were able to then get together, we were like, this is making a real impact on people. And we want to shout about that even more. So yeah, we got the account together, and it just shows me as an able-bodied and Jack as a non-able-bodied dancer move into music, and it gets loads of people inspired. And then Jack does a lot of work with the Limbless Association. They were guest speakers at the awards, and so when we were asked to do a talk, it was a bit like, okay, so what are we going to talk about? Well, let's talk about our experience, how we came together, and what it's taught us, and what we can hopefully share with other people, just to start thinking about in your business. Are you open to inclusivity? How can you make your workplace? How can you make the service that you offer more inclusive to people with physical differences?
Yeah, it was actually a key factor. You won't know this, but it was a key factor when I looked at the awards, having taken over from Joe, my first year running. What award should we be looking at? And we added in inclusivity champion because I had this like what you said on stage. And I love the TikTok account with Jack. It's wonderful. But it just really resonated that actually within the franchise industry, number one, we definitely can do more for whether it's physical or neurological, like we can absolutely do more. And number two, those that are doing it, we should be celebrating it. Like, why aren't we? Why aren't we calling this out and properly celebrating those that are, doing amazing things? So yeah, that's actually one of the key reasons why we added the Inclusivity Award this year. So
Hey.
to you. But it is important, like from my point of view, like one of my children was diagnosed with ADHD this year. And it's interesting, like watching the sessions and like those, we tried to put him into so many structured, like go to football sessions and do football, and he just can't deal with it. But actually, there are so many activity providers, children's activity providers, who really understand the different sets of needs, whether, like I say, physical or neurological, and it's okay for him to go to sessions where there's an allowance. I mean, he won't because he's stubborn, but we'll get there. Actually, we have found one session and it's free running. It's
Yeah.
parkour and free running, because he's not told you have to do this or you're in trouble because you don't wave your scarf at this moment. And it's been so enlightening for him, confidence-wise, because he struggles with social stuff. And I get from your sessions, like you are very much like, you're not going to stand and make the kids like follow you and copy you, and it's not strictly come dancing, like it's getting people included. And I think that's so important. So well done for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I do think it's been a little bit of an easier transition because when you work with toddlers,
They
they
won't
never
do
tell you
anything anyway.
so, you get used to that. You have to get over yourself when
Yeah.
you're like, okay, shall we do this? No, no, no one is. Okay, just me. So you've always had that. We are here to lead, and all the children will join in at their own pace. But it lends itself very nicely to all children being able to come along because, yeah, if they decide they just want to spin around in the corner or they just want to sit and cling on to their grown up, then that's absolutely fine. We're all doing this together. And so I understand when you are working with older children, it's a drop off, there's a structure. It is a lot harder if you've got children running off in one corner and it's just you as an instructor. It can be a little bit harder, but I think there's definitely work that you can do to be more inclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Changing the topic a little bit, you do a huge amount within the franchise community. So you're obviously EWIF ambassador, you're on chairs and boards of things that I probably don't even know about. Like you are super like ingrained in the industry, which I love. Why is franchising so important to you? What, as an industry, like why is it such a key factor for you?
Because I just think there's so many misconceptions around it. I, back in 2006, I think it was, so I've been running the business a couple of years, and I knew it was popular. Every part of London I was going into, it was popular. So I thought I need to expand. I've taken on teachers. They're teaching for me here, there, and everywhere. That's still working, taking me out of the equation. Oh, dagger to the heart, but I got over it.
Gosh,
I thought, no, it's all me. It's all me.
they
Um,
won't like me anymore. Yeah.
Feed me. Um, I just thought, how can I expand this, but keep the ethos of what I've developed and created that I'm so passionate about? And that's when I heard about franchising. So my amazing franchise consultant, Clive Sawyer. He helped me franchise the business. And I was like, wow, this is a great concept. They are buying this ready-made business in a box with all the tools they need, but they still have that autonomy that it's their own business. They can still make a lot of decisions themselves, but they're just getting guidance and help and that hand to hold as they grow. And so we developed all of that. And then I'd go along to a franchise show, or I'd go along to, a business show, and you talk about franchising. It was like this dirty word of, oh yeah, well, we don't look at that because it's just like a pyramid scheme, isn't it? Like, what do you mean it's a pyramid scheme? So then when I heard about the BFA and the British Franchise Association, I was like, oh, okay, this is great because we're shouting about this a bit more. We can all do a lot more about it. But I get involved with all of these different things because I just want us to spread the word on that business format franchising is ethical. I'm not saying everyone is, but it
The
is.
model, the model is.
Absolutely. The model is. And any ethical franchisor will be ready to say, I'm really sorry, I just don't feel this is the right fit for you. Not great, give me your money, see you later. So I just, I'm passionate about that because I want more people to be aware of the fact that this is a great way to own in your own business.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. There's still a huge education piece to be done, I think, in that wider. So like I mean a lot of conversations about getting more young people involved in franchising at the moment. And there are loads of kind of reasons why they're not, and that would fill an entire podcast and probably will one day. But that education piece of like I think they very much still come out of school and expect to either go to uni or get a job. And it's like, no, there's a secret option. It shouldn't be secret, but it kind of feels like, you know, because there's finances involved, oh, it's risky. Like you're going to go to uni, you're going to get yourself into, I think the average, according to the student loans company in the UK, is £48,000 worth of debt.
Yeah.
You could buy like a £7,000 to £10,000 franchise and make money off of it, but it's like it's still a little bit hidden. So yeah, there's always going to be more that we can
Yeah,
do.
100%.
I completely agree with you. There is this like notion of education where actually it is ethical. There are structures, you know, you are protected. There are franchise agreements that are so fat.
Yeah.
One of the clauses, you know, and I think that actually like it's it's never a job that we're going to finish. So yeah, it's great that
Yeah.
you've done all of those boards,
Oh,
particularly within children's activity, I think as well, because we've seen huge growth. I mean, I've been in franchising a mere 10 years. I think this is my 11th year. But the growth within children's activity just in that time has been phenomenal because it's such a, just a great way, isn't it, for children's activities, just like your journey. Like, so this is popular. Like, how am I going to manage all of this and build
yeah.
a business in a box? Like, I just think, yeah, I can see that. I can see why it's exploded in the way that it has. But more,
Yeah, I think the sector, the kids' activity sector is exploding. Um, Quite saturated, you know, it is quite an overwhelming sector to be in now, but I just think it's a great sector as well. And, you know, it's a really nice collaborative sector. You know, again, I'm really passionate about children's activities, but I'm passionate about making sure that we're all working with children to the highest standards and, you know, making sure that we are delivering things correctly and safely and with the right, you know, training behind us.
yeah, 100%. I think in that within that saturation, one of the areas of innovation that is going to become even more important is that emotional connection that you build with your potential franchisees. Because from a franchisee point of view now, they come into this market, and I think a lot of in lifestyle, a lot of franchisees don't know that they're going to buy a franchise. Do that? You must get listed at Diddy Dance, like at Daisy First Aid. People don't wake up tomorrow and go, oh, I'm going to buy a franchise. I'm going to go to the franchise show and I'm going to like flick through all the directories. They just come across you
Yeah.
and they understand that you solve an issue that they didn't realize that they had. But I think when people start to look into franchise, so you probably won't know this about me, but before I bought my Daisy First Aid franchise, I nearly bought a music and dancing franchise.
Ah,
It wasn't one of yours. But it was a franchise that I'm guessing probably still going on. I haven't seen them for a long time. But it was a resale. So like the appeal for me was it was an established business. I could rock up and do this thing. They already had a trainer because it was a resale. So I already had somebody to do the classes. I kept really mulling it over and I couldn't quite make the finances work. And I was actually talking to my mum about it. And she went, yeah, but say she can't sing. I was like,
harsh.
yeah, that's harsh, but it's fair actually. I could probably sing some nursery rhymes and be all right. I love the dance aspect of it, so I'll always get involved in your TikTok because I like dance. Um, but I had already been to a Daisy First Aid class, and around the time that I was considering this other franchise, Jenny franchised, and I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I need to do. But I didn't wake up and go, I'm going to buy a franchise. I left corporate under a bit of a cloud and took my tribunal money and invested in myself. But I think the thing that kind of tipped me into Daisy, that's what I want to do, is because I had an emotional connection with the franchisor because I'd done one of her classes.
Yeah.
And I think that like an area for franchisors to be super um swatting up on, I guess, getting hotter at is that kind of personal connection. And I think this is something you do really well through your TikTok account, because you're
Oh,
trying to sell to people. We'll put the link in the show notes, but you're not trying to sell to people, you're just putting your personality out there. And it's really clear to see like that you're a warm person, that actually, you know, like whether you're my cup of tea or not, like can we work together in a partnership? And I think that the way that you approach that content and have built that huge audience is wonderful. I think we need more of that in the industry.
oh, thank you. That means a lot because, yeah, I think it is about that. One, you've got to be passionate about what you're doing. If you're not so comfortable with the singing, then maybe a music one isn't ideal. But and for me, I'm exactly the same. If you come to me and you're not passionate about dancing or moving, I'm not, not all our franchisees are dancers. You don't need a dance qualification or to be a great dancer. We're teaching stamping and clapping, even the style dances that we do, they are at toddler level. I'm looking for people who are passionate about working with under fives and about getting them physically active, and yes, love moving to music. So I think you've got to be passionate about the franchise that you're looking to buy into. But yes, you definitely have to have a rapport with the franchisor and the rest of the team. I think it's why I deal with a lot of the franchise calls. I am always on the discovery call on a Zoom myself, because at the end of the day, it is me that they've got to get on with. It's me who they've got to be at conference with every year, and all those sorts of things. And it has been lovely when people have come to me, go, well, I'd looked into a few, but actually your TikToks really just made me laugh. And I thought you were quite a funny person and you'd be quite easygoing to get on with. I was like, oh, thanks. So I'm glad that comes across. So yeah.
Really, totally does. Anne-Marie, if you could do anything and you knew you wouldn't fail, what would you do?
Oh gosh, right. Okay. This is actually really hard because what I do is my passion. After 22 years, I still love doing it. I still teach. I've been teaching
Love
this.
that you still teach.
So yeah, I still love what I do. And as the years go on and as I approach my 50s, very soon, I'm hoping the body will still allow me to do that. I think, I think if I could do anything and know I wouldn't fail. I think the other thing that I really love doing is maybe a bit of work on TV. I think I'd love to be like a kids TV presenter. I love doing that, but I'm too old and all of those sort of things. So if I knew I couldn't fail at it, yeah, I definitely love to do that. But it'd have to revolve around diddy dance because I'm still so passionate about it. It's nothing that I would ever want to stop doing. I don't have a big exit plan and this is my strategy and I'm going to do this and then I'm going to sell. And no, it's my lifelong passion. If my daughter takes it over, amazing. But yeah, if it was a little side hustle, yeah, I'd love to.
I love that,
Yeah,
but
be on
I can
TV
see
present.
there. I can see that though.
I
Like
can
you've
see
got
it.
sparkle. Like, yeah, come on, let's get you an agent. Like, let's do it. Like, I can see it.
Yeah, airbrush me a bit more. It might work.
Camera will be kinder. It's like, but you've got nothing to worry about. You look blooming amazing.
Well, at least when you're on a TV screen, you don't have the harsh reality of toddlers actually going to you, why is your hair white? Why is your arms flapping? You're just, thanks so
How
much.
does your tummy wobble? Like, oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah, I get that as well. Yeah, yeah. There's no filter there, is there? And you come home feeling really good about yourself. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that kind of CVVs, like
Yeah.
you could do they do like the transition songs. They used to get so stuck in my head. Like
Oh, really?
when my kids were small.
I haven't watched. We did some great work with Milkshake a couple of years ago, but I haven't actually watched any preschool TV. Mine kids are 17 and 13 now, so I haven't watched. I don't know any. They come in to classes and they've got I don't even know Paw Patrol. I mean, I've had to learn the characters, but my kids are too old. That was way before Paw Patrol was out. I'm like, in the night garden? No, okay, yes. I'm very out of
Love
touch
that.
out of
Yeah.
touch. But it's quite funny in a way because especially when you're thinking about funny TikToks and things, and there's like things that you're at 50 years old trying to relate to a 2-year-old. do you like doing this? And it's just, you can get some funny memes out of that.
Definitely. I think that's why you do so well, because you do kind of put that point of view back on, and probably things that have really shaped you during that day. Like if you're in the mood to do the TikToks, and it's just like this happened. I do that from like, or from a business point of view. If I've had a conversation with a client and they've asked a question, I'll go on and I'll talk about like the answer to the question. But you've got such a better angle.
It's not
Far
better,
more funnier.
not better, just a little bit funnier, maybe a bit more savage. Yeah.
Much more entertaining. For sure. I can see you on TV. Yeah, why not? Like
Yeah.
loads of
Anyone
channels.
out there, let me know.
Yeah. Direct all inquiries. How can we get in touch with you, Anne Marie, on a serious note? Like if anyone's like watching this, like I have to speak to Anne Marie. Like I love Diddy Dance. How do they find you?
So I'm on all social media platforms. So I've got at original Diddy Dancer, Diddi, Instagram and TikTok. You can contact us through Diddy Dance Crew on Instagram as well, or just Diddy Dance on any Facebook page, or literally info@diddydance.com. Send me an email directly.
Keep it simple, like it. And Marie, I've loved chatting to you. We could probably chat all day. I've absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. We'll put all of the links in the show notes so that you can go and click those quite easily. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Pleasure.